Welcome to more Fanime. What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna be dissecting, we're gonna be talking about, we're gonna be chit-chatting about the newest chapter of One Piece that just dropped this morning. Chapter 1085, The Death of Nefertari Cobra. Is it Nefertari? Whatever. I guess you could say Nefertari D. Cobra. Spoiler. Sorry if you haven't read it already. Too bad, so sad. Today's chapter was actually pretty good. I think I liked it better than the last chapter. Because the last chapter felt like we were getting a lot of stuff that we already knew about. Yeah, just a lot of questions. More questions than answers. This chapter's pretty decent. I am, again, missing the Straw Hat crew dearly. It's been so long now. I don't know how much longer this Reverie flashback is going to go for. Maybe one, maybe two more chapters. It really depends on how much detail the GOAT Oda wants to give us. And I'll take it all. I will. But no more breaks, Oda. If you're not going to give me my weekly dose of the Straw Hat crew, you gotta give me a chapter every Sunday. Maybe a chapter on Monday too. Give us 2 a week until we get back to the crew again, and just keep going. Just keep doing it. I don't want this series to end early though either. But I also can't wait to see the crew once again. And to get back to Egghead Island, the reason this whole arc is, that's the chapter. It just feels like we're kind of going back to the Reverie that we never really finished. It's like the Reverie, we got like the first few chapters and then we got cut off. And everyone felt like, wow, that can't be an entire arc. It's too short. I agree. Reverie's too short. This is kind of an extension of that arc and less of an extension of the Egghead Island arc. Everything with Law, Blackbeard, red-haired Shanks, and Eustace Kid, that all in my mind fits with Egghead Island. But this whole Reverie flashback thing, doesn't really work for me. No. I want this information, I do, but I almost feel like we could have just seen this when the Reverie happened, and we wouldn't be having these full chapters, or 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 of a flashback of an arc that passed years ago in our time. And maybe I wouldn't notice it so much if I wasn't reading it week to week. I probably wouldn't give a shiz, but right now, shiz be given. It really is. But let's just get right into it. Let's just dive right in. The chapter cover page is a request from a reader of our boy Frankie, my man Frankie, holding a sign, helping these little baby turtles make it to the ocean, kicking some giant sea crabs' ace so he doesn't eat them. Very Frankie-like. Speaking of Frankie, I really do hope before we leave Egghead Island, I mentioned this when we got there, when we first met Vegapunk. I want him to get some upgrades. I want him to get some Vegapunk upgrades. We don't know if Frankie's going to get new arms. Whoosha, whoosha, super. Or maybe just some new weapons. Maybe some upgrades to the General Frankie. That's a big possibility. With the help from Vegapunk, that could happen. But we are in this middle of this fucking pause that we're waiting to see this big incident that's going to shake the world. But either way, the chapter begins and Emu finally is speaking to us, the readers, and to Cobra. And basically is sitting upon the throne that nobody should be sitting on. And Cobra's just freaking out going, what is going on? My mind is blown. Nobody should sit upon the throne. Nobody should rule the entire world by themselves. Nobody should have their thumb upon the people. But it turns out there is a guy, or gal, or they, whatever you want to call Emu. Emu sits upon the throne that shall not be sat upon, and tells Cobra, hey, I got a couple questions, and I got an answer for you. And that's it. You ain't getting shit more. Cobra's like, what's your name? And Emu? Emu. It wasn't Emu a member of the 20 kings who took over after the Void Century? Boom! This is definitely something that people have been theorizing about, that Emu might be an immortal of sorts. It could be a devil fruit ability that made him immortal, or maybe the op fruit surgery could have done it. That's my biggest guess, because they have mentioned the op fruit can give somebody immortality. So why not it be this right here, right now? It might be the only way to have immortality, unless maybe there's some legendary zone devil fruit, like a godlike zone devil fruit that allows you to live forever. That could be something. I mean, what if he's got like the devil fruit? Literal, not that sounded kind of weird. It's a devil fruit with the devil in it that could possibly live forever. Let's see here. From there, he's coughing and he's like, I know who Emu is. And he explains, hey, Emu explains to Cobra, I'll tell you about the D. And I'm very excited. I'm like, we're finally going to find out what the D is, sort of, kind of. We don't really get an exact name for the D, like what the word D is. We do see in this chapter that dawn, it could just mean dawn. I know a lot of people have said that before in the past. Nothing big and monumental that we would be like, whoa, Oda's crazy and he's been hiding it this whole time. No, dawn has been pretty prolific throughout the series. Romance, dawn, so a dawn of a new age here, and I could see D meaning dawn. It is said here, we're going to wave the flag of dawn. But Emu doesn't even explain that. All Emu says to Cobra is that the D were a clan or a group of people that had the D in their name, and they were our enemies. They were the Celestial Dragon's enemies that we took down. And the ones who currently hold the D within themselves in their name, they don't even know what it means. Maybe Garp might know what it means. I mean, he's an old man. He might have heard it from somebody, but Garp walks around with the D, and he's part of the Marines. So did Saul. Jaguar D Saul. He had it as well. I mean, what other Marines have the D? A lot of tiptoeing around actual answers in this chapter, sadly enough. Was not happy about that. Cobra looks at them and he's like, oh shit. Because he looks at the 5 Gorosei, and they all pull out their guns, their pistols. Even though in this world, like, a pistol is pretty basic when you have hockey and devil fruit abilities. It's like, do you really want to use a pistol when you could probably just turn your arm into a flaming blade, or armament hockey stabbed through the chest? Maybe they don't want to get their clothes all bloody or anything, but they all pull their special pistols out, except for the one with the sword. The Gandhi-looking guy pulls his blade. He puts his hand on his hilt, and he's like, all right. You will die today, Cobra. The minute you saw Emu, signed your death. And so Cobra was like, well, I ain't got shit to lose, right? So Emu says, you said Nefertari Lily, but we both know that isn't the name that was signed on that letter. Was it, Cobra? And Cobra's just like, fuck it. Yeah, it was Nefertari D. Lily, which means so much. That means Cobra is a D. That means Vivi is a D. It could possibly mean, we don't know exactly. I don't think the Ds are blood related. I think it's like a group of different blood that all split up after the war. So I don't think Vivi and Luffy are like brother and sister or some kind of cousins of some sort, but that does mean that Lily holds the D, just like Luffy, which means so much. Their fates have been intertwined, which is also interesting because if you look back, I guess Vivi was never supposed, or Miss Wednesday was never originally supposed to be a double agent, and then he kind of just came up with that idea on the fly, is what I've heard. So the fact that Vivi is becoming such a major component through the end of the final saga of One Piece, it makes me very interested. I cannot wait for Vivi to rejoin up with the crew and, celebrate their Ds together. Her and Luffy Dog, they can compare the Ds. So out of nowhere, after he says Nefertari D. Lily, a demon-like tail, it looks like an arrow, but maybe a tail, comes and slices right through Cobra. Luckily for him, our boy Sabo, what's Sabo's last name? Have we been told that? I'm curious. Is listening to this conversation. He's like, whoa, and then he sees Cobra get stabbed through the groin area. It looks like that in the manga. He comes in with a fire fist, rook, and he attacks the Gorosei. Maybe he had the plan, like, I'll take them all out at once. They all survive. They do. They're too strong. We now know that the Gorosei are at the very least strong enough to tank a fire fist from head first fire fist from Sabo, which is a lot. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of pain that they're going through. But they all kind of transform. They do. Maybe they awaken their devil fruit abilities. I think they have devil fruit abilities. Maybe something else. Maybe some new version of hockey that allows their bodies to change. But it's all silhouetted, so we don't get to really see anything. So it's like, Oda, why couldn't you just done this back when Reverie happened? Why couldn't we just seen this then? You're going to silhouette it anyway. We're not going to see anything of importance, really. The only thing of importance that we've learned in this flashback, in my opinion, is Lily, or Nefertari D. Lily, and Vivi D. Nefertari, and Bonnie being the daughter of Kuma. So we might have learned that a little sooner. You could have just waited and showed us later. Whatever. We didn't need this huge flashback. Just my opinion. Sabo jumps in, he grabs Cobra, and Cobra's like, why are you helping me? Aren't you part of the revolutionaries? And he's like, the kings aren't the revolutionaries' enemy. No matter what the newspapers might think. The Revolutionary Army's enemy are the Celestial Dragons, the ones above the kings. So I'm gonna save your ass. And then Cobra's just like, so you are the brother of Luffy? I can't believe he knows that. I'm sure he just pieced it together using, the newspapers and whatnot. Because I don't think Luffy mentioned it. I think maybe Sabo was in the newspaper and it mentioned that he was related to Luffy. I can't quite remember. So I guess that's how we got that information. But either way, I guess Luffy did leave a lasting impression, so I guess Vivi's always talking about him and the crew, so it kind of makes sense. So he's like, so you're Luffy's bro. Cool. I'm dying here. Don't worry about saving me, but I need you to do something for me. I need you to find Vivi. I need you to tell Luffy and Vivi that the Nefertaris hold the D as well. And Sabo's like, no. I'm going to save your ass. I'm going to get you out of here. We going. And they start going, and he's like, no! You need to understand we must raise the flag of dawn! And before he could finish what he was going to say, probably about the letter, he gets stabbed through once again by the demon tail thing. That's why I was thinking maybe he has the power of the devil fruit. He can literally turn into Satan himself. All the other guys, they all transform. Like I said, it's all silhouetted. It's hard to tell. They look like animals, some of them. I can't imagine that every member of the Gorosei is a Zone Devil Fruit user. That would get kind of redundant, especially after we just went through this entire arc in Wano where everybody had Smile Devil Fruits, which were hybrids of zones, and I'm just done with the zones. We've had enough Zone Devil Fruits to last me an entire One Piece story arc. Saga. Yeah, I don't want any more armies of Zone Devil Fruit users. I can have a few more Zone users, but don't make every member of the Gorosei a Zone user. And if they are, it better be like a legendary, godlike Zone, which I'm predicting is true. We'll have to wait and see. Sabo escapes, sort of. We don't get to really see the end of that. Well, we already know he does escape, duh. Because this is a flashback. And he's explaining this technically to the revolutionary, to Ivankov and Dragon. So then we cut to, well, no, we don't cut at all. The Gorosei turn and they hear, with their little ears, they hear someone listening to them like, who goes there? Turns out Wapple, this is where Wapple comes in. Wapple was peeking through a little peephole, and he saw everything. He knows the secrets of the world government. He's one of 2 living beings that know these secrets. He starts chomping his way out of there. Immediately going, I've seen too much. Forget. I didn't want to know this. Cobra was not my friend, but I can't celebrate. They're going to kill me too. I know all these facts. He starts chomping his way through. We do cut from there to Vivi, Princess Vivi, being tied up on a chair, and she's just like, who ordered you to, enslave me, essentially? And you see the members of CP0, Jabra, and Caulifla, and the rest, Bluno, Chapapa, and Kimadori, all those fellas, they're all there, playing cards or whatever, but Jabra and Caulifla, they actually get some speaking roles, and they're explaining to Vivi, like, we're not going to let you go. Vivi's like, if you don't let me go, I'm going to tell everybody or something, and he's just like, you're too honest. As a kidnapper, I would never let you go if you're just going to tell everybody. And even if you did, this is the land of the gods. It doesn't matter. They get what they want. And Caulifla basically tells Vivi, you will become a pet to the celestial dragons, or probably Emu. Maybe a forced marriage. There's a connection there. There's a good chance. Maybe Emu was in love. There's a love story. Romance Dawn with Lily, who left and now sees Lily within Vivi because they are related, and goes, I'm going to take her. I'm going to make her my wife. But luckily for Vivi, one of her enemies of the past, Wapol, starts chomping his way through the building, goes through. The rest of the CP0 are going, what was that? Was that King Wapol? Vivi jumps onto Wapol's back as he's going, and she's like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to the end of the earth where they can never find me. And she's like, please take me with you. And you get to see Wapol's gold-digging wife see this happen at the same time. Like, what's going on? Are you eloping? And that's the end of the chapter. Wapol and Vivi escape. I really do hope that's where we cut, and we go from there back to, I guess, Sabo explaining his story to our boy Dragon and Ivankov, because I'm kind of done with this little flashback. Is there really anything else that needs to be told? Oh, this is the big one. This is the big one that happened. This is something I kind of glossed over because I wanted to really talk about it. Fujitora and Green Bull. We know that they were fighting against the revolutionaries, right? They were trying to keep order and whatnot. They were being held back because they were causing damage to the city, possibly hurting celestial dragons, which would not be good for them or their jobs or their lives. And remember, this is a flashback. So this is before Green Bull runs into the Straw Hat, or the Nine Scabbards and Shanks at Wano. So he hasn't done any of that yet. But Fujitora, supposedly, according to Jabra, allowed the slaves to escape that were being helped by the Revolutionary Army, and possibly helped more of them escape. The question is, he's already betrayed Akainu once by not trying to capture the Straw Hat crew, I believe, and then bowing down at Dressrosa to the king. The Marines bowed. So that was big. But now, apparently, Fujitora allowed slaves to escape, and it's known by the CP0, so that means it's probably known by everybody, including the Marines. Everybody's talking about that. Apparently, Green Bull got PO'd, since he's an a-hole, and started fighting Fujitora, who are probably at an equal battle level. These two go at it. They're dueling it out, and that's great and all. But it makes me wonder, does that mean Fujitora is going to be reprimanded? Does that mean Fujitora will be executed? Would he become a slave in their place? I mean, he tried to summon a giant meteor. Like, he wasn't helping really at all. Is he, like, secretly a revolutionary this whole time? He's always been such a nice guy. I'd like to know more about Fujitora. This is the most interesting he's been, honestly. Him allowing the slaves to leave. Green Bull attacking him and them having a little bit of a fight, which just makes everything even more wild. I wonder if the next time we see Fujitora, he will be a slave or possibly executed by Akainu or the Celestial Dragons or the Holy Knights. Like, he fucked up. He really went against the law of the land. What's going on here with Fujitora? There was a big part of me that thought, well, maybe Fujitora was going to still stand by the Marines in the final war. But at this point, if he's helping slaves get away, he's doing something well beyond his power. I know he's not really fond of the world government, and I think he was drafted into becoming an admiral and all that fun stuff. He might be kicked out. We might be getting ourselves a new admiral. My prediction is we get our very first female admiral to replace Fujitora. That's what I want. That's what I think will happen. We'll see. Fujitora gets put in the newspaper as a traitor and possibly executed, possibly turned into a slave for the Celestial Dragons. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm excited because that's a big tidbit of information that was done in one tiny little panel that Jabra, of all people, told us. CP0, kicking ace, except they did let Vivi escape. It's great that they're around, but I'm also worried about their hides. What if Jabra and the rest of them also get executed for allowing Vivi to escape on the back of Wapol, which really doesn't make a lot of sense because I thought CP0 back when they were CP9 in Water 7 were very fast. Like, very fast. I don't care how fast Wapol is at eating. He's got to eat through these walls, which is going to slow his ass down, right? Chomp, 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 chomp. He's like Pac-Man. But you have the little ghosts, CP0, who can use Shave, who will just go in front of him and punch him in the face. It is the most unbelievable thing in this entire chapter that one member from CP0 didn't think, oh, hold on, I'll be right back, Shave, and then capture Vivi. Kill Wapol if necessary. Maybe just knock him out because he is technically a king of Black Drum Kingdom or something. But still, Evil Drum Kingdom, whatever. My mind thinks it's a little unbelievable that not one of them, even if Kaku or Lucci weren't around, maybe they're already on their way to Egghead, probably not. It wouldn't make a whole lick of sense. Well, you know, they could have already been sent because shit's started been going down in Egghead for a while. They've been trying to, you know, capture other members of CP7, 8, 9, and all that fun stuff. So they could have already left. Very possible. But you're telling me Caulifla, Bluno, Jabra, Chapapa, Kimidora, you tell me not one of them said, maybe we should stop him. Because they didn't take them long to go, okay, that was Wapol. That was weird. And then look over to the right and go, oh, Vivi's gone. Did they not just assume she jumped on his back, the only person who could have helped her escape? They could have even thought it was an escape attempt. Help from Wapol. Maybe they think they're allies. Either way, you use Shave, you use Finger Pistol, you knock that boy down, you take her back, you tie her back up, you do your effing job. Unless CP0 secretly doesn't like the world government either, and maybe helping out, maybe acting stupid. I don't know. It just seems like a little bit of a plot hole. Because Wapol, not the fastest guy. He was so early in the series, so early on the Grand Line. This was well before Water 7, well before Enies Lobby. And you're telling me this guy can escape them? In the next chapter, they better explain that the minute they got through that building, they jumped right onto Morgan's flying ship and escaped. And it better show CP0 right on their heels, like right about to grab them. And they're gone. There has to be something that stopped them. There's no way one of them wouldn't go, well, let me make sure she's not on Wapol's back right now. Wapol is not that fast. It just does not compute in the brain hole. It don't. What did you guys think of chapter 1085? I enjoyed it. I think that the plot holes got me. But we have 15 more chapters till 1100. which could easily be when we go back to Egghead Island. I could see Oda stretching the next 15 chapters out just so we can get to 1100, the return of the Straw Hats. We have 15 chapters of more flashbacks, seeing what, Kid, maybe Rouge is doing, seeing what the other member, maybe we can go see what Capone's up to. There's a lot of characters in One Piece that we can go check on and get us to chapter 1100. That said, I'd prefer we get back to Egghead Island and we start getting some meaty details. Or maybe we can finally see what the fudge Emu looks like. It's time. I really hope Oda doesn't make us wait till the minute we have to fight the dude to see his face. This is more Fanime. Don't forget to comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you later.